Hi, I'm OB1 from Hard Coded and System Rejects. We're at my house in Bristol, UK for Clownfest Cribs. So we're upstairs in my studio now. Some of you might recognise it from my other videos. I have played at Clownfest before. I'm going to show you around some of my gear, talk a bit about my workflow. So let's dive on into that. So this is the first station, obviously fairly self-explanatory. This is my mixing station. Unfortunately, I've had to put the 1210s battle style because I haven't really got enough room in here. It's quite a small room. This is my kind of central control area. I'm running MacBook Pro here with Ableton Live. I've been using Ableton for about 18 years now, since version 3. There wasn't even MIDI when I first got it. So, but I'm using it now mostly for recording. I am sending some MIDI out as well to a couple of bits, but mostly it's there to record stuff coming in. It's also running my master clock. On this channel here, there's just a sampled modular pulse which I put out on 16th notes, and that clock's literally the entire modular system. I'm also sending MIDI clock out to the Nava. So this is the Nava Extra 9. It's basically a 909 clone, but there are 37 extra knobs and there's some switches as well. So you've got access to control the parameters of most of the 909 sounds. I built this one myself, as I did most of my gear. I've built a couple of these, and it's an absolutely amazing drum machine, and that's really the kind of heart of my system, and where I tend to start with a track is just by laying down a pretty solid 909 rhythm. My audio interface is the Motu Ultralight Mark III. It's absolutely rock solid, loads of ins and outs. So I use that for recording in. I can do multi-track recording from the desk or send multi-track out to the desk. I've got the SCAT bass synth. This is an amazing machine. It's smart. It's the best sub bass synth I've used, and I use it on literally everything. It just sits there underneath and underpins everything. It's an incredible bass synth. Influences, yeah, hugely influenced by artists like Surgeon, Regis, Underground Resistance, seeing artists like Crystal Distortion doing hardware at parties back in the day, Laurie Immersion, his panning groove stuff, too many to mention now. This big 12U case is one that I put together for live use, so there's a sort of couple of analog voices and oscillators here, some digital voices and oscillators, a whole bunch of filters, load of modulation and effects here, analog drum modules, mixing and compression here, and then sequencing for all of that. So this is kind of a standalone live case. There's a sampler in here as well, really great for doing live techno. Up above that is kind of just an overflow. So there's some random generation, more modulation there. My matrix mixer, which I use for putting together effects matrices, octave switcher, some more DSP, and all sorts. Down in this little case here is a whole load of control devices. So there's a little touch capacitive keyboard, my mega knob, which is just a CV source, faders here for again sending out CV, and a joystick as well. All of that can just be patched to wherever to control whatever I want. Favorite module? Oh god, that's almost impossible. I'm really into Oberhausen, and also the 259, just a Buchler oscillator. Yeah, really like those. Probably my favourites at the moment if I had to choose. Over here in the east wing. There's a few bits. Again, I got another row of modules here. We've got some more random generation, a big analog voice here, valve distortion. This is Alpha 4, which is a 4-voice modular analog polysynth that I designed and built myself. And then down here I've got my mix bus, which is stereo PQ 1549 EQ. That's from the Calrec Polar desks, and the SSL 4000 series G compressor as well. It's a stereo compressor, so everything goes through that. The other interesting things over here, Ambica. It's an amazing hybrid polysynth, 6-voice polyphonic, 12 wavetable oscillators and multi-mode analog filters. I've just put new filter cards in there and it sounds brilliant. I've got this little rack over here, which is like a little Moog style voice that I put together, which my son uses sometimes as well over in his studio next door. And then I've got this little sub mixer here, which I route stuff back into from the mix bus. The most important piece of gear, easy. My soldering iron. Without this, pretty much none of this would exist. So that, yeah. And a label maker, I like that too. Finally, this is my mixing station, so I've got a load more modular here as well, obviously. Little case up here which has got the double Benjalin and another sequencer. It's some fairly esoteric stuff there. This is my big kind of sound design case, so I've got some complex oscillators in here. I've got wavetable oscillators, through zero oscillators, lots of oscillators. I've got the Erica bassline, very nice. Anything that I do with acid in is either the Erica bassline or the XOX, which is over in the live case there. I've got some Polyvox filters here. Another really nice sequencer, the M185 sequencer, which is fantastic fun. And then I've got my my Z24, got the Allen Heath Z24. Really love this desk. I talked briefly about how my mix works. I've got my 909 bass drum, another bass drum which comes from the modular, and the SCAT bass all come into here and go into a bus over here. Also into a parallel compression bus which comes through this compressor here. So all my bass is here. The parallel compression just really fattens it up. I've then got the SEO2 up here, lovely little 3 oscillator mono. So it's basically a mini Moog. That comes in here, Ambica comes in here, the XOX from the live case comes in here on a separate channel because I quite like to treat that with some additional effects. Alpha 4 comes in here, several channels of 909 drums, then the parallel bass compression bus. Then I've got the Keeley reverb pedal, which is on another auxiliary, and I've got this little Boss DS1 clone, which is on another auxiliary. There's a rat distortion, which at the moment is on my 909 bass drum. All of the Euro rack ends up being mixed down to the hex mix over here and comes in on one channel on the desk here. And then I've got a couple of channels, one just for my Mac stereo output and the DJ mixer there. Everything goes to the master, out through the mix bus, into the little Mackie mixer, and then to the speakers, and back into the Motu and into Ableton. So that's sort of how it all works. Well, thanks for watching. It's been fun showing you around my studio. If you've got any questions, do get in touch. Happy to chat about it. I'm a massive music nerd, a massive synth nerd, a massive electronics nerd. So if you want to talk about any of that, get in touch and let's. I've been OB1, you've been watching Clownfest Cribs.